Hello, Business Central friends. There's a question asked in one of the video comments about company creation, and I thought, why not make a video and talk about all changes or all differences between on-prem and SaaS when you are dealing with companies. So let's get started and let's talk about it. So in Business Central, the business center belong to a business entity or to a legal entity, which in Business Central referred as a company. When you sign up to Business Central, you are given a demonstration company, which we all have seen. And if you are talking about Business Central SaaS, then you also get a empty company called My Company. Switching between companies is super easier. Just go to My Settings, choose the company that you want to deal with, and you're good from there. Or you can use the company switcher on the top of your screen if you have multiple companies. And we'll see that. But before we get into it, um, let's me open my Business Central SaaS and a Business Central on-prem environment. So this is my Business Central on-prem environment. Comes up with one demonstration company called Kronos USA, and this is my Business Central SaaS environment, which comes up with two companies. One is Kronos USA, and my company, which is the empty company that's get created automatically. The way which you switch companies is you can either go to my settings and choose the company that you want to work on, and you'll be able to navigate to that particular company. The other easy way on Business Central to navigate between companies or even between environments is using this company or environment switcher, and you can just choose the company wherever you would like to go. So why we are talking about this? Because there are certain differences how companies creation, modification, copying are a little bit different between on-prem and SaaS. So we'll get into it. So first, let's open the company's page in both the environments, and let's do it first on Business Central on-prem. So before we start creating new companies, remember you need to be assigned as the super permission set in your users. If you're not assigned as a role of super, you'll not be able to create new companies. So let's be very clear about it. So when you go here on Business Central on premise and try to create a new company, you just give it a name and you're good there. And let's say it'll start creating. Let's try to do the same here by saying new, new. And when I'm coming here and I type the same name, T1, which I've typed on-prem, I actually ended up with an error message. And let's read what the error message is. The error message says to create a new company, you need to choose the create new company button, which is an assisted setup wizard, which will help you to follow the step to create a new company. So you can't just directly create a company in a Business Central SaaS environment, which you can easily do on Business Central on-prem. As you can see, now I have another company. So what do you do in Business Central SaaS in that case? When you click on new, you get a create new company wizard. When you click on it, it opens up a navigate form which will help you and guide you for creating new companies. So let's click next and let's give the same name, T1. But then there are some options here to select the data and setup to get started. Now, what are these? The first one is evaluation sample data. Now, it's very important to choose the right template because based on this, you will have some data and you might don't need that data. So, listen to this very carefully. The first one, evaluation of sample data. This option will create a company that is similar to your demonstration company, like Kronos USA in this case, which will have sample data and setup data. This type of company is available to you without switching to a 30-day trial period, which others type do. Okay, so you'll have the sample data as you get on the Kronos. Create a company with essential functionality, scope, contain everything you need to evaluate the product, like a demonstration company. And additionally, there's a boolean to install demo data related to the Contoso demo data for uh, the manufacturing of the scenarios. So you can enable that if you are interested in it. What are the other option? The other option is production setup data only. This creates a company that is similar to my company, which only have setup data, but there is no transactional data into it. So you will have to start setting up your items and customer and then start posting, because the posting setups, your general ledger setups and other things are already in place. So if you're trying it out for your personal learning and all, where you don't want to, when you don't know what setups are involved, you know the master entities and all, then use this option. The third and the last option that we see, we see four. The third one is advanced evaluation, complete sample data, which means it'll have all the advanced experience, including your service and manufacturing, if I'm not wrong, with the transactional data also and the master data also. So you can start utilizing this. The last but not least is the create new with no data. With this will create a blank company without any transactional data and without any setup data, which is true to what you are creating on prem. So let's say we are doing this. Remember that we had four options, but before we navigate next to it, let me open my production environment here and let me go to the companies page and try to click on the new company wizard. Here you will see that there is a different set of options. The production setup data is same, evaluation sample data is also there, and there is only create new no data. In the sandbox environment, you get an additional option to advanced evaluation, complete setup data, sample data. So this is the only difference between a sandbox and a production environment. But if you want to see what it does, like how you create a company like this, like you do it on on-prem, you can just directly go ahead and say create new, no data, and hit next. If you have to assign permissions and all, you can get into manage users, and then once you click finish, it'll start creating the company T1 as it is. While it is being created, let's talk about renaming companies. If by mistake I did wanted to type it as T2, but by mistake I typed it as T1. So in on-prem, I can go and hit T2 or rename the company name and hit tab. What else do? Behind the scene, whatever changes it need to do, which people from PC who have seen the SQL structure of a Business Central database will understand that right now it is trying to rename all the tables in SQL, and because SQL table have the company name in picture, and started working on it. As on the left hand side where you can see the sandbox, PC SaaS is still creating the company T1. Here it is trying to rename the company. So now you see that the company T1 is created in my sandbox, whereas T2 is being renamed, and we'll see what the results are. But in the meantime, what if I have to rename this company? So if I change this to T2, let's see what happens. You cannot rename this company due to the impact on performance. And what Microsoft is suggesting is change the display name. So once you have created the company and given it a name, you'll not be able to change that in the sandbox environment. And the only option that you have is to delete a company. So think about it, what your company name should be before you create a company in Business Central SaaS, because you'll not be able to rename the company as we were able to rename it here in on-prem. And the only way that you can do it is, if you can work with just changing the display name, great. If you still, for whatever reasons that you have in business, you want to name it as T2, then the only option that you have is to delete this company and recreate the new company. So what we learned, you can't directly create a company in SaaS. You'll have to go through a wizard. One, you cannot rename a company in SaaS. You can only change the display name of the company. And last but not least is, if you have to create a copy of the company, you can just hit copy and then give it a name. Let's say in this case T2, and hit OK. What it'll do, the new company will include all the data that you have in the T1. Like here in this case, if I create a T3, It'll keep all the data as of your current environment, and a copy of it will be created. So if you have to rename the company, this might be another way in SaaS, that you create a copy of the company and then delete the actual company. But think wisely while you're creating your companies in SaaS, because there are certain limitations around it, right? So it'll take some time to create it, and once that happens, you will be able to access it. Now let's talk about, and I guess the copy will happen the similar way in on-prem and SaaS, so I'm not going to do that. So before we end the quick video, let's quickly go through what we learned around it. So for the company creation process, there are certain differences between SaaS and on-prem. In the SaaS, you can only create a company using a wizard. You can't manually create a company uh, by clicking on the new button. You cannot rename a company, and the number of companies that you can create in a Business Central environment is limited to 300 as of today. Whereas on-prem, there's no wizard of creating company. You can just hit new, give the company name, and that's it. You can rename the company whenever you need, and new companies are blank companies. There is no setup data, there's no transactional data into it. And remember the last and the important thing, that for company creation, you will need the super permission set assigned to your user. So that's it for today's video. If you have any queries, suggestion, add that into the comment section. If you learn something new, do share this video with your colleagues on social media and other friends and family. If you like the content, please hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I'll highly encourage you to subscribe to the channel. That helps us to understand how we are doing in this. And I'll be coming up with the next video sooner than later. So stay tuned, and I'll see you soon.